Never seen a lame man walk, never heard a dumb man talk, never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled death, never seen all the poor get fed, never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. And find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you will change his name. Never seen the sick get healed. Never seen a mystery revealed.
Hey everybody, it's time for the Big C and Bigger T podcast. Woo! It's your boy Bigger T, and man, I'm coming at you live from finally. I found my settling place, I believe, in Thornton, Arkansas. I'm a Thorntonite now, done with moving for a while. But my man who's not done with moving, who's probably going to be moving hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah.
Big C, Clint Clark, moving to the same neighborhood.
Yeah, literally. I'm selling my house, going to rent one just literally around the corner. You know, but hopefully cash out while the getting's good.
Yeah.
Then, you know, I think we're going to look at, we may look at building something. I don't know. I might have to pay somebody to do it. I can't build nothing.
You going to build it up by the missile silo?
Maybe. I miss that metallic taste in my mouth.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. All your pets will have extra legs.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
I had that one Chihuahua that just walked around like.
Well, he's doing his Michael Jordan impression. Isn't that what you always said?
Yeah, we always said the Michael Jordan. His name was Pete.
Pete the Chihuahua.
Pete the Chihuahua.
Well, Clint, how you doing, man? Everything going well for you?
And it thing that, you know, selling the house was a little stressful. But you know, we'll get through it. I'm hanging by a thread, but I'll get through it. But yeah. It's always nerve-wracking whenever, you know, you got them financial balls up in the air and you're like, okay. So yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. But man, it is a good day. Speaking, we went in together, made a purchase.
That's right.
Made a purchase. We got a new logo. I hope you guys like it. And Now, here's the thing. Me and Travis both, when we talked about it, we had the same idea. It was like the logo, the Big C, Bigger T podcast, were like characters of ourselves. As like, yeah. I was just thinking faces, and I was like, okay, this is what the guy comes up with. I kind of told him what our idea was. Yeah. And then he came up with the new logo, and I loved it. I did not tell him to make me all buff up front, and then you.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'd like to see those emails because, and plus, I'm wearing a vest. I never wear vests.
Yeah,
but that's all right. It's all good. It's a red vest.
You know, your face does look very realistic in it.
Oh yeah, it does. Yeah,
he did a good job on yours.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, it's fun. I like it. I really do. I think that was exactly what I was kind of thinking of when we talked about it. And so, I'd attempted to talk to a couple people that I just knew that might could draw it themselves, you know, locally, and no one ever did anything about it. So, and then you sent me a link to someone, you know, that did it. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. And that's what we got, man. I'm pumped with it. I've had a lot of good feedback.
The site we used is called Fiverr, just for you kids at home. And it's a bunch of freelance graphic artists and stuff like that can do business cards and stuff like that. We actually got the original logo off that. I think I paid $15 for the original logo. This one cost a wee bit more.
Yeah, it's worth it.
It was worth it. I think the guy. I'll look through the guy is. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'll try to give him a shout out next podcast. But he hit it out the park. Definitely recommend him, as I was recommend Hometown Roofing for all your roofing needs.
That's right.
I'm doing this because we're getting together Saturday, and I'm trying to drop hints to Robert, like, hey,
That's right.
boys need to be paid by
all those good commercials we're giving you.
Talk to Cam Bam and get us at least get me an appetizer.
That's right.
Maybe. I think we're gonna go. I think we're going to walk-ons. Because Travis went well, and they hadn't told us. I told them I want to go to Layla's because I like to take you guys places we ain't been a lot, but then it's NCAA tournament season, so the boys got to watch basketball, and stressed about selling the house, stressed about moving, stressed about all this. I need a night out with the boys. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure it'll be talked about on this podcast next time. So I'm excited.
Right. It'll be good times. Well, Clint, for our Holy Snikes moment, fill us in on what's going on with Miss Brittany Griner.
Woo, Brittany Griner, I guess, is since mid to early February she is in jail in Russia. And it's one of them, like, they're not talking about it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it every now and then, like on CNN or something like that, but like on ESPN, I'm like, I don't get why that's not a bigger story. You have, I'd say, one of the premier WNBA players is basically, because no one makes a living based solely on the WNBA.
Yeah.
They just don't. Like it's like you couldn't get me to play on an NBA team for what the max salary is for a WNBA player.
Yeah.
Like I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good money.
Yeah.
But it's not, generational wealth type money.
Yeah.
A lot of them ladies, they go play overseas, and where it's a lot more lucrative. And then they come.
Well, didn't she get busted for, was it a vape and some?
They said it says hashish oil, which people were like, she might have had it. It might have got planted. Who knows? They're saying, look, nobody would put it past the Russians to plant something on an American athlete.
Yeah, I mean, also wouldn't put it past an American athlete to have.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean,
so,
you got Michael Vick with a hidden compartment in his water bottle, and he had weed hid in it. It just, that was at an airport here in America, and they were like, just throw that away, stop it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
But yeah, I mean, I think
definitely in a part of the world you don't want to be in jail right now, for sure.
No, it's there's a lot of tensions and stuff. So I mean, definitely, keep Brittany Griner's and her family your thoughts and prayers. It's got to be
yeah.
I mean, it's like they released her mugshot, and she's got looked like almost a blank sheet of paper, just like
yeah.
So it's a scary situation.
Now, speaking of scary situations and serious situations, a lot of times we're not very serious on here, but this is very serious.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring it up. I thought it was worth mentioning for sure.
This Heath Miller, an OSU lineman, right? You were telling me earlier, is tried to commit suicide twice.
Yeah, he had apparently he released a real long letter on his Twitter page. About said, I'm medically retiring from football. I just can't do it. You have to have a certain mindset to play college football. You do, and I'm not saying, and if you can't do it, it don't make you not tough. It doesn't. It doesn't. But it's not for everyone. That life is not for everyone. But he had a lot of mental health issues. He talked about, he talked openly, about how he was wearing tape to cover his wrist. The first time he had an issue, he said, he talked about how wonderful Ohio State's coach is. And I don't like to give Ohio State any credit for anything.
No.
So it pains me to talk good about Ryan Day on here, but sometimes a person deserves to be talked.
If he deserves it, he deserves it. Yeah.
He deserves it. And so he just said, man, he could not have been more supportive, could not have helped him more, helped him get help. He said, Heath Miller said, I thought I was ready to come back and play football, and I wasn't, because I made it through it, but he just wasn't there. He said he had scars on his neck. I don't know if he tried to cut himself somewhere on his neck. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. But guys, the point is, if you're going through something out there, I have the privilege of hosting a podcast, being the co-host of a podcast with not only my best friend, but an outstanding minister, someone who I feel like if anybody was going through something they could reach out to, I would encourage you going through something, inbox Travis, inbox me too. I'm not as much, I wouldn't be as helpful as Travis. But we can definitely put you and point you in the right directions and try to help you. If you're going through any mental health issues, it's nothing to laugh about. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less of a person. Take care of yourself. And here's a former 5-star recruit. You're a 5-star recruit in college football. Pretty much you can probably have, you can go to any school you want. Probably get any girl on campus to go out with you. I mean, it's just, you got that kind of pull. And you're like, why does this person be depressed? Why would this person be sad? Why would he hate himself? I mean.
Yeah, you're right, Clint. One of the first things you need to do is to reach out to somebody. Don't go through anything alone. It's not, we're not wired that way. We're wired to help things out. And sometimes just talking it out, sometimes just listening, having someone that'll listen to you is key in that kind of situation. Because in those situations, you're going through a lot of things. Sometimes you don't feel heard. Sometimes you feel like no one's listening and no one cares. And so there are people out there. Okay, look, I mean, like Clint said, I'd be happy to talk to you. I know Clint would. But more important, I'd be happy to listen to you. I'd be happy just to let you just let it all out. And if I got advice, I'd give it. If I don't know, I'd tell you I don't know. But the important thing is to get help, because it is very real. Yeah. Another thing is stress relievers, Clint. I've worked with teenagers for a long time. And one thing I found is this generation and even our generation has forgotten, I think. We get so busy, we forgot we need things in our life to where our mind goes somewhere else and lets our stress go away for a while. For you, I'm sure jiu-jitsu does that.
Oh, it is. Yeah, for sure.
For me, a lot of it's my Bible study and preparation and stuff I do for my sermons is what gets me to another place, because I enter into what I'm studying and I focus on it. But also there's other things I do. I love to go out and shoot guns. Okay. And that takes a lot of the stress off for me. We need things like that in our life. If you have things, if you're a musician, get that guitar out, start playing it. Or whatever, piano or whatever. If you're athletic, go do something athletic. If you're not athletic, draw, write, do a blog, do a podcast, something just to get your mind on something else for a short amount of time, because that'll help relieve stress a lot more than anything else. All right.
And the one thing I do want to say is you are important, and you're important to us. 100%. So never feel like you're alone, because I don't care who you are important to me.
That's right.
And I feel like I speak from Travis when I say you're important to him too.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay signed a new quarterback.
Yeah, did you hear about that? They signed some guy. Let's see, what's his name? Brody.
Tom. Brody.
Is that Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
That guy.
I've heard that.
I thought he quit.
Yeah, he's like, dude, gas. I don't know. I've seen a lot of memes like gas prices so high. Tom Brady's like, I can't.
That's right.
And I see like a lot of people like yourself that don't. I mean, you didn't post this, but a lot of people said Tom Brady literally spent like 30 days at home with his wife and kids. Like, no,
that's right.
I'd rather get hit by a 300-pound lineman. I'm good. I'd made a joke like, is he Terry Funk? Because Terry Funk. I don't know if you people know who Terry Funk is, but he's retired from professional wrestling no less than 27 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a lot, but this is for he ain't quite Brett Favre level, but
no. I think he saw that contract that Aaron Rodgers got. He thought, I ain't made enough money.
Yeah. Ooh, $50 million a year.
That's all. Yeah, it's 50 million.
That is
So,
just,
you know, when that happens, man, when I see quarterbacks getting that, I just think, well, there goes that team.
yeah.
Look at Russell Wilson at Seattle. He went for the money grab. All of a sudden, they couldn't afford to put players around him.
They don't have one single member of the Legion of Boom left.
Yeah.
Not one.
They couldn't afford to pay him because all the money's going to a quarterback. And
so what did you think of the Russell Wilson trade, by the way?
I think Russell Wilson's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he's one of the best quarterbacks of our time. I'd still think they're going to compete, but they won't win the Super Bowl because they're not going to be able to afford to put players around him. I think his contract's too much. I think that's just what it's going to do. I think the same with the Cowboys with there's two players with Zeke and Dak, their contracts are too much.
It blows my mind why anybody to give that kind of serious money to a running back anymore. I mean, I'm not saying like if you're going to spend money the way running games are, I mean, you have your anomalies, you have your Frank Gores, but Frank Gore is kind of like if he had Super Bowl rings, he'd be the Tom Brady of running backs.
Well, and one of the ways Tom Brady always did it, and I probably said it on here before, but if you look back at his ranking on highest paid players in the league, it was always the lowest paid players were the guys that were on their rookie contract, right? That first 4 or 5 year contract. And then it was Tom Brady. He was, usually there may have been another couple starting quarterbacks below him, but he was right there in the middle of the league his whole career. Okay. He wasn't making all that he could get. Now you could say, well, that's because he's got Giselle and he's got, all this other stuff. And that's true. That does make it easier. But I'm sorry, man, if I'm a starting quarterback in the NFL and I have a chance, let's say if I'm Patrick Mahomes right now, okay, he did a money grab and he's going to hurt his team. Okay. But if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm willing to take a mediocre contract, which is still going to be close to $20 million. I'm going to take a $20 million a year contract if I can get a good left tackle, if I can get a good right guard, if I can get a couple of good receivers, if I can get a couple stud defensive players to anchor my defense so that I'm not having to score 80 points a game because my defense is giving up 70, it's just bad business, man, but agents want to make their part. So anyway, and owners are willing to pay it. So that's the other thing. So Tom Brady's back.
Tom Brady's back.
Is Tampa Bay one of your top for the NFC next year already?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's still going to come down to Green Bay, the Rams, and Tampa. They're going to be your top 3 teams. And the AFC is going to be interesting too, because I think I saw where, early in free agency, Cincinnati signed a Pro Bowl guard already.
Yeah.
And so you got a feeling they're going to draft another lineman. I mean, that team was two offensive linemen away, I think, from winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I really do. Now, I don't know. I mean, Aaron Donald will make Pro Bowl offensive lineman look bad. He's one of those just freak athletes that's just
yeah, but those weren't even close to Pro Bowl offensive lineman he was going.
No, that was like me out there. I mean, of course, I've had a lot worse of defensive linemen than Aaron Donald make me look bad, but but it is what it is. But yeah, no, they definitely need to upgrade that. I mean, your worst GM in football. Your 0-6, your Matt Millins could look at that and go,
yeah,
we need to fix this offensive line.
yeah.
I think Matt may be the worst general manager I can think of. So
yeah. Well, in hog baseball, our boy from Worcester, the Shawbridge Slugger.
See, this could have been the Holy Shnikes moment of the week because
they got him in the leadoff spot now. And he's hitting phasers, baby. He's hitting phasers.
Not only is he hitting phasers, he went into this weekend with like a great batting over 300, but he hadn't had a dinger. And so was he doing his first dinger of the season?
Grand salami.
I think he gets another home run, either that game or the next game, and then he hits another grand slam.
Yeah.
So dude hit back-to-back grand slams. He's co-SEC player of the week, which I'm like, brother just hit 3 home runs with 2 grand slams. But now
give the Shawbridge Slugger the respect he deserves.
Exactly. He's just straight up NCAA player of the week. He didn't share that with anybody. But that being said, I believe he shared it with a player from South Carolina, and South Carolina just won a series against, at the time, number 1 Texas.
Yeah.
So I get it. You beat number 1, you got to get excited about it. But no, man, kudos to Cayden Wallace. That just second best athlete to ever come out of Greenbrier behind Clint Clark.
That's right. No, Cayden's doing well, man. He's doing well. I'm seeing his family post stuff on Facebook. They're excited, of course. And
how could you not be?
It's good to see. And just a good kid, good humble guy, and he's working hard. And the baseball team's looking, they're looking pretty good. They're still trying to figure some things out right now. Still trying to get their pitching rotation figured out, but there's some guys doing pretty good there, and trying to get those bats going. So good stuff. Well, Clint, it's that time, man. It's NCAA tournament time.
Ooh.
Now, first of all, though,
is there a better weekend of the year, like as a sports fan?
No.
And I may have said this last year, but now football is by far and away my favorite sport. It's not even close. And honestly, I like baseball probably more than I like basketball.
Yeah.
But that being said, there is not a funner weekend in sports.
Yeah.
Than the opening day. The opening Thursday of the NCAA tournament is the best. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is cool getting to the Sweet 16, but that opening day, there's something about that Thursday. I remember, what's your favorite non-Arkansas, the first comes to mind, non-Arkansas NCAA moment? Because I can think of Grant Hill to Leitner was pretty cool.
See, I hated that because I hated Duke.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that being, and also another one that I didn't like, because Keith Carter at the time was my boy, but now he's a dirty Ole Miss Rebel. But the Bryce Drew shot, I'll never forget that, where he's guarding out of bounds, guy catches it, hits the 3-pointer, and I was in my dorm room at Arkansas Tech. I remember Matt Nelson being like, "Oh!" It just started immediately talking junk to me.
Who was it that Northwestern State beat on the last second shot? In the tournament. I'll always remember that because our boy Patrick,
right?
They put his radio call on Sports Center.
Yeah. Was there the one that beat the number one? I can't remember. I know Virginia was the first number 1 seed that lost, but I can't remember.
It wasn't a number 1, but it was I think it was like a 3 seed or something at least that they beat.
Yeah. No, I mean, it has happened. I mean, it used to be. And and this was and what was funny is we'll go ahead and skip to number 4. We're talking about Arkansas's draws Vermont. And I saw Vermont and I was like, and they're showing like highlights of their conference championship game. And I said, with the parity and the transfer portal, with what you have from there, it is a matter of time.
Yeah.
Or a team like Vermont.
Yeah.
Wins the national championship. We almost saw it with Butler.
Yeah.
I mean, Butler had a half court shot, go halfway down and come out, would have beat Duke. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a matter of time for you to see a team like that win the tournament.
Yeah.
You look at one of the teams in a number 7 seed, Murray State, that has Justice Hill at Arkansas signee. That a lot of people were disappointed that he didn't play football at Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't know what position they'd have put him in, but that they went undefeated in conference play, won their conference tournaments. They're a 7 seed taking on San Francisco, which I mean, I think a lot of people are circling that like that may be the best game of the opening round.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about Arkansas's chances for Vermont?
Well, it's Buffalo, New York is a lot closer to Vermont than it is Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah, but Vermont averages about 1,500 people at their home games. Right. So if all 1,500 people show up, we might have that many Razorback fans there.
Yeah, but being in Buffalo, New York, when the team comes here and you're hosting a tournament, you always tend to pull for the underdogs. If Vermont's the underdog, I think Arkansas's ESPN, whatever they call that, 6% chance Arkansas wins. Man, it's going to be a tough game. Vermont shoots the ball extremely well. We're going to have to take care of the ball, have to limit turnovers, stuff that we haven't been good at. If we don't show up, we can lose.
Yeah.
I like our path. I really do. I don't hate I hate Vermont. I hate drawing Vermont. I do not want to draw them. Now, if it goes chalk, well, let me talk. What do you think about us playing Vermont? What are your thoughts on it?
I agree with you. Vermont shooting scares me, but however, they have 2 main shooters, and Musselman does a great job of shutting down the other team's best player.
Yeah,
in his defensive schemes, and so I feel like he'll do a good job of shutting those guys down. I'll tell you something that thanks to my boy Michael McDaniel, he sent me an article the other day. Vermont is distracted right now. Their basketball team. Have you heard about the allegations of sexual misconduct that they're under at their school?
I have not.
They're pretty hot and heavy under some allegations that go to the basketball team, past players and current players. This is something that's been building up for years, and it's a case that they're under some serious scrutiny right now. And the more write-ups there are about them in papers up there, the more write-ups there's going to be about the sexual misconduct stuff, because a lot of it is the university has not handled it well. There were some allegations of some athletes that raped some females, and that they pretty much got a slap on the wrist for it. And so there's some serious things going on there that, of course, sometimes teams still play good in situations like that. They still, especially since this has been something they've been dealing with for a while and probably will continue to deal with for a while. It may not make that big of a problem, but it is a problem. I think we'll beat them. I think we're just gonna. I think we'll out athlete them. I think we'll outwork them. That's what this team's done, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
We've outworked everybody.
Yeah,
that we've beaten. So I think that one. Now, when we get on to
if it goes chalk, you're looking at UConn.
Yeah, UConn will be UConn will have a lot of fans there.
Yeah. Now I was looking at before here because I do very little research, so I give myself one Google an episode. We have a couple common opponents. UConn also beat at the time number 8 Auburn at home, 115 to 119, and I believe looks like no, they got beat by West Virginia, but that was at West Virginia, and they also played I think Northern Iowa. So and we both beat Northern Iowa. So so I like the draw of UConn. I mean, UConn will have more fans there unless there's a women's game going on. Then no one will care. But
Gonzaga will be a tough one.
Gonzaga will be a tough one. They play a lot like us and them play similar, but I think Gonzaga's got slightly better players. And then you talk about if somehow you get past Gonzaga, then you got Duke most likely.
Yeah.
Now, I think Duke's to blame for Texas A&M losing their spot.
Yeah.
But
poor Texas A&M, man.
Yeah, they got
hoes.
I thought when they beat Florida, I mean, literally, I thought when they beat Florida, Texas A&M was in. I thought Florida versus A&M was pretty much a playing game. Like the winner was going to the NCAA tournament, loser was going to the NIT.
Yeah,
that's what I thought was going to happen. Then A&M won up beating Florida. They turned around and beat Auburn, which I was ecstatic about because I was like, I'd rather play A&M than Auburn.
Yeah, yeah.
And then A&M beat us like we owed them money. Like maybe Musselman and the boys went and toilet papered Buzz Williams' house.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be I'll tell you, in our track there, the team probably in our side of the bracket, Gonzaga scares me. But Texas Tech could be one that ends up. They could be the one that comes out of that bracket, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean I could see Gonzaga winning it. I could see Duke winning it. I could see us winning. Who's the 3 seed over there?
That's Texas Tech.
I thought Tech was the 6 seed.
No, number 3.
Are they? Okay.
6 is Alabama.
Oh yeah. So I can see I can see any of the top. I can see the top 4 all coming out of there.
Yeah.
And I would probably. So it'd be nice to meet up with Texas Tech again with a trip to the Final Four on the line.
Yeah.
It'd be.
Yeah.
It would be nice. So, what were your thoughts on the SEC tournament as a whole? How Arkansas did?
I thought we just had a bad game against A&M. And I think it's easy to have a bad game in a situation like that where you don't necessarily have to win. And I think Muss tried to get them to want to win that tournament, but it was also probably good for them to have an extra day off.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, like if we would have won, the whole daggum thing, I don't know if it would have helped us much on.
You might have been up to a 3. You weren't getting up to a 2 seed.
It might have helped where we got to travel to, because we got ripped on travel.
We did.
We're in Buffalo, New York, and then our next time will be in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get much worse than that for an Arkansas fan. So anyway, that's but I thought the SEC tournament, we could have done better. But I think we must probably got some good coaching points out of that A&M game. And if they learn from it, then it'll help us in the tournament.
We got to put that nail on Will Wade's coffin, though.
Hey man, he's a goner. Finally.
Yeah. But before we move on to Will Wade, What was your thoughts on that last dunk against LSU? Because the announcers are kind of like, they shouldn't have done that. And I was kind of like, yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
No,
I didn't. I'm like, you dribble it out. But now the LSU player just wasn't even defending the goal. It's like,
yeah.
Like, man, what did I do? I mean,
Yeah, he should have dribbled it out, though.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah, that was, I don't want to call it classless, but it was probably like, yeah, you probably should have done that.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have done that. But it's like Will Wade's like, man, they whipped you 3 times. You can't really say much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Will Wade finally
gone.
I can't believe it took.
Cheater caught up with him.
Man, yeah, it was he's on an FBI wiretap.
Yeah.
Talking about making he's like, man, I'll make a heck of an offer. Even now, in today's rules, the rules all that as they are today, NIL money and all that, you still cannot do that.
Yeah.
You can't offer a guy money to come. Now, once you can tell him, like, look, we got all these NIL deals. Once you get here, you have a chance to get.
Yeah.
You can't just say, hey, man, we're going to give you $100,000 to come play for Louisiana State. You still can't do that. It is still illegal.
Yeah.
And it's even more illegal back then. I don't know if more illegal is technically a thing, but
yeah, we got what you're saying.
Yeah. It just, and there's I mean, he's not the only coach, but it finally like they like, here's the notice of allegations, and LSU going to struggle a little bit from it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was surprising they did it before the tournament. It was surprising they did it before the tournament. But I think what you saw in the tournament was his team quit on him.
Well, I think
so they probably thought that in order to have a chance in the tournament, they had to just go ahead and let him out.
Yeah.
What I think.
They were talking. Of course, I was watching it at work because it was on a Saturday that we were playing, or no, it was Friday, so I was watching it at work. But the Chuck Barrett and Coach Z were talking. They said, LSU looked they didn't look like they had any fight in them.
Yeah.
They just look like they look like a team that's out there going through the motions. Yeah. And I think they fought hard that first half, and then Will Wade probably knew this was coming and was feeling, just an enormous amount of pressure on them shoulders. And then he just blew it. He blew a gasket towards the end of the first half. And basically spotted his 4 points.
Yeah.
And after that, LSU just never was the same. A lot of times you'll see a coach get a technical and they'll fire the team up. They'll go on a run. He got a technical and this team quit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to put it. His team just quit.
Yeah.
And so you saw LSU quit. Now there's like, I think there were 6 openings in the SEC. One of them's been filled, and now there's 5 openings. I think Mizzou's open, Florida's open. Georgia hired a coach that Florida was going to fire.
Yeah.
But,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be some.
I think Florida's kind of like Arkansas. Like, if you're going to go 19-12, barely make the NCAA tournament, that's not good enough.
No.
We got too good of a basketball tradition. Florida feels the same way. Mike White just wasn't getting it done at the level they want to be done. I mean, Mike White had probably similar success at Florida as Mike Anderson had at Arkansas.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good enough. So Florida's open. South Carolina firing Frank Martin. And then one of the names that I saw that was attached to that job that they're interested in is Arizona's coach, who's in that same probe that Will Wade was in.
Yeah. So
and that's why Arizona fired him. And Arizona, but Arizona, with a lot of the players he's recruited, 1 seed. Of course, you have like Shaquille O'Neal's son transferred from Arizona to LSU.
Yeah.
Who else open? Missouri's open. Missouri's got an open. Mississippi State fired Ben Howland.
Yeah.
So then LSU's
that's
open.
crazy.
It's that man. It is. it is nice. It is really nice to be talking about our recruiting class, how great this recruiting class is, instead of, man, who are we going to get in this coaching search? Who are we going to get?
Yeah.
Who are we going to get? John Jones, awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Well, once again, it's NCAA tournament time. This is the time for basketball. I'm excited to watch. Okay. I'm excited to watch. Now, once again, we're going to be getting together and eating for Saturday. Me, you, Wes, and Robert. But one of the best things about watching the tournament is you got to have some good eats, right?
Yeah.
So let's, we always do these little, okay, what was your favorite, your whatever. What about your death row last meal that if I was on death row, I'd be wanting to watch the NCAA tournament if it was on.
Right, yeah.
With my last meal. You got to have some good TV going with your last meal, right? So what would your last meal be, Clint?
Man, and I've thought a lot about this. I have. Like, you use one hand, you're like, okay, get some McLaurin's ribs, some Mighty Quinn's brisket. There's some. My wife makes this amazing chicken salad, and she doesn't do all the grapes and that gross stuff in there. Not that I like grapes, but not in my meat.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just she does some seasonings to it. She shreds the chicken, mixes it in with mayonnaise, which is weird because I don't like mayonnaise. Like, I got now that we're on the subject, I got some quirky habits, Travis. Let's talk about that. Like, I don't like oranges, but I'll drink orange juice.
Yeah.
I don't like tomatoes. But I love ketchup.
Yeah.
I don't like cherries. I wouldn't eat a cherry, but anything cherry flavored, I'm all about. Same thing. Same thing with strawberries. Like, I wouldn't eat a strawberry if you had a gun to my head. I'd be like, pull the trigger, boy. But like strawberry flavor, like, I'm all about it. Like,
I used to be like that. I'll eat strawberries now.
I won't. No.
I
think it's bitter and nasty, but anyway, I digress. So yeah, my death row meal would definitely be Anna's chicken salad and my mom's dirt cake. Like, if I knew that was my last.
What would your side items be?
Man, I'm not worried about that. I'm gonna fill up on chicken salad and dirt cake. I mean,
oh man, you gotta have good.
I'd probably go. Now, I do like me some sweet potato tots. I like the tots. Maybe have like if I'm gonna die, and I know I'm gonna die, I'm not worried about having the runs the next day. I'm gonna eat whatever I want.
That's right.
Give me some of them barbecue tots, like sweet potato. Well, yeah. How about yourself? What's that? What's the death row meal for old Bigger T?
Well, mine would be, I would go with two meats first. And it would be my grandma's meatloaf and her fried chicken. Okay. My grandma used to make me fried chicken when I was a kid, and I loved the crust. Okay. So she'd make like the leg and a breast for me or whatever. And then she would take and scoop out the crust as she was cooking it, the crust that would fall off in the pan. And she'd put it on a paper towel, let it drain. And then she would let me just eat. I'd have like a pile of crust, kind of like you get at Long John Silver's. If you can get the crust there. She'd give me a pile of crust. Okay. So I'd have to have that pile of crust. And even if I didn't have the chicken, as long as I had that crust, that'd be good. But then her meatloaf was always awesome. Okay. Then I would take some of her dressing from Thanksgiving, because that's my favorite thing in the world to eat, is my nanny's dressing. Then I would take country fries, fried potatoes from Brother T's Soul Food Cafe. Remember Brother T's?
I do remember Brother T's.
In Conway.
Yeah.
It was in an old church. And at the back of the church, they had a serving line. and that was a restaurant during the week. And like all the suits from downtown Conway would come in there, like lawyers and doctors. And you go in there at lunch, and there'd be all these like wealthy people, man. And and it's like, it's right across the street from Madison's Garage, which is where you could get your catalytic converter cut out and a pipe welded in for $40, which was illegal, by the way. But don't ask how. I know you could do that.
But the statute of limitations hopefully out on this one.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, man, and I'd go there for lunch, and Brother T, sometimes he'd come out, and he loved my mom. And so my mom was there. She'd go, "Oh, come play piano for us." And he'd come out there and play piano for everything. And then if you went there late for lunch, a lot of times they replayed the service from Sunday over the little stereo they had in there. And so I'd go back to work at game time. I'd be like, well, I went to church for lunch. But anyway, I want some of his fried taters, man. Those are so good. And black eyed peas.
Yeah.
Those black eyed peas were cool.
So
anyway, and his meatloaf was really good too. Nanny's meatloaf.
So I like to smoke my meatloaf, and that's I'll do a smoked meatloaf. Man, I tell you, we had the people over for Bryce's fight. My guys from the gym over for Bryce's fight to watch it. And, there was Masvidal versus Covington was a big grudge match. So one of the things I like, and I got this off a barbecue show, they call smoked bologna Oklahoma tenderloin.
Yeah.
And so what we'll do is I'll get a block of bologna. Now, typically I go buy it myself, but this time I like, hey, paycheck went in Saturday morning, so we went and did the shopping for having everybody over Saturday morning. So I always get like a $7 block of bologna, the Bar S, the ones that have like the 50-cent package of great hot dogs. They for like other people. I don't get for myself anymore. So I go. So it's like $7 for a block of bologna. So she goes. So I said, "Hey, did you get the bologna?" She goes, "Yeah, I got paid you." How much that cost? It's like $20 for a block of bologna. But dadgummit, is it not the most fantastic bologna I've ever had? Like, got the Petit Jean, like a block of bologna, and we smoked it. Oh my goodness. I'm just telling you, there's two things I'm not going cheap on anymore. That's hot dogs and bologna.
Yeah.
I have to get the Tom Clark raisin out of me. I'm going to be bougie on my hot dogs and bologna. Yeah. I'm like, that. This is the best bologna I've ever had. Like, it was fantastic. Like, we had a smoked pork shoulder, and I'd done a meatloaf too, and I was filling up on bologna.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
Well, and then my dessert, Clint, would be going back to my meal in Crawfordsville, Arkansas, until it burned down. I forget what the place was called, but it was a little Italian restaurant, not very big, the only restaurant in the little community of Crawfordsville, one of the only businesses in the community of Crawfordsville. But people would come from miles around to eat there because of their bread pudding. And that bread pudding was one of the best desserts I've ever had in my life. And so that would be my dessert. Whatever. There's some folks in that town that know how to make it, and that they have the recipe or whatever. And I got a cousin that knows how to make it, by the way, too. But anyway, so that would be my meal. Heavy on grandma's. Throw in some Brother T's.
Yeah,
little dessert from a.
See, and that's the thing about our meals is me and him neither one went to one place. It was like, we're going here, we're going here. Like,
that's right. It's gonna be your last meal, man. Might as well do it.
Yeah, I'm going out with a bang.
That's right.
I'm going out.
Hopefully we never have to have that. Well, Clint,
I never have dreams that I killed anybody, so I've got that going for me.
Yeah. So now, one last thing here before we go. It's getting about that time. What are you watching?
There's a show that just came on HBO Max. It's a new series out called Winning Time. It's the rise of the Lakers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it is like they've only showed episode 1. No, there's no way Jerry West can be this miserable of a person. There's just no way Jerry West is this unhappy. But I want to believe that was really how Jerry, because they said at the beginning, like, we fictionalized a lot of stuff to make the story even better. So we've even changed some names. But John C. Reilly is playing Jerry Buss, and it's fantastic. The guy that's playing Magic Johnson's doing a great job. It's got some salty language in it, so take that as you will. But I've been watching that. It's been very, very. I've only watched that one episode, but it was very entertaining. I was very impressed with it. Now, you've been watching something. You've been watching a show that's like, I'm telling you right now, when you told me you're watching the show, I was like, okay, I was excited for you because I have the entire series on DVD and I've loaned it to like a gajillion people. And it is 5 full seasons. Well, season 2 is kind of a full season, but it just roughly ends. But I've loaned it to everybody, and it's 5 seasons, with the shortest season being 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And it's never taken anyone longer than a week to watch the entire series. So go ahead, Travis.
Well, I'm officially done with it.
Oh, yeah, it didn't take long, did it?
No. Well, Friday Night Lights. Man, I've had people telling me. My buddy Matt told me. He said, you're gonna love this show. You told me. People that I trust, that we like the same type of shows. I was like, yeah. It was just something I never got into. Right. And then, to be honest with you, this last.
Could you say that again?
Sorry about
that. Easy, Alexa. When I moved again to Thornton, there was a delay on me getting internet because that's why I had to record last week at the church, because the last tenant here hadn't shut off her service. So I had to wait for her I had to like send a copy of my lease to the company so that I could get it anyway. So finally got, so on cell service, on data, Netflix would play here. So I'd started watching it before I left my other house, but I've been watching it heavily because all I could watch was Netflix here, because my Hulu wouldn't load on my phone, just on my cell service. And so I've started watching it, man, and I love it. It's so good. It's now there's some
No, you're right.
Some bad writing in it here and there.
Yeah, there's some stuff. Like, I'm like, okay, if you're that good of a football team in Texas, here's one problem with the time. If you're as good as the Dillon Panthers, East Dillon Lions are, he gets fired season 3 and has to transfer. So he has to go to a different school. Spoiler alert. It's been out for years. So, you haven't seen it. Shame on you. You should have already watched it. You're the reason it got canceled. But I totally forgot. But no, okay, I remember what I was going to say that. But you shouldn't be in a dogfight every year if you're that good of a team. Yeah. Greenbrier was a 7-3 football team, and we had a couple games where I didn't play past halftime.
Yeah,
it just is what it is. And then we had games I played the entire second half because we were up that much back when I was a backup. Yeah. It happens in every high school, but it's like every week they're in a fight to the end. That's not real. It's not realistic.
And there was I think they messed up a little bit with Regan's. His character is fullback. In the first season, he's 17 years old. It says he's 17 years old. But if you go by when he graduates, he would have been a sophomore. Yeah. Because he graduates with the quarterback.
Right. Yeah. They
got kind of lost with him there. I think he was such a good character. They wanted to keep him around. So they just kind of, kept him in there. But
and it really got Michael B. Jordan, Creed himself. They got him his start. He was great
he was great in it. The acting, there was some really good acting in it and things like that. I thought it was I thought it was really good, man. I enjoyed watching it. I was glad I missed out. I was glad to finally watch it and see what I was missing. And I was missing some.
Well, and me and Anna a couple of years ago, we took vacation and we went to Austin, Texas on vacation. And I went and what they actually shot at houses in different areas in there. And so you can look it up. And so like I went to Tim Riggins' house.
Yeah.
And saw it. And I was going to go up and like look in because but apparently somebody actually lives there. So it'd been creepy. Yeah. But they had like a Riggins sign in the thing. And I was going to get up and look at it. And you can see they had a camera over the garage and had a gigantic dog. I'm like, we'll just go on to the next one. And then we went and got ice cream. The Alamo freeze in the show is a Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
I mean, I said, so we went and ate somewhere, and I said, well, let's go to the Alamo freeze and get what do they call them things at Dairy Queen? They turn them upside down and all that. Blizzards, the Dairy Queen Blizzard. Yeah. So I went and got Dairy Queen Blizzard, and we're sitting there eating. I'm sitting there eating our Blizzards, and it goes, I can't believe they don't have something up commemorating that they shot the show here.
Yeah.
And I go, you mean like that? And I see the big poster right behind her that the entire cast had signed.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. But and we saw we went out. I went out to the football field. It's like they shoot it in Pflugerville, which is like little community right outside, bedroom community outside Austin. So that's how much I love the show. Like I went to Austin. One thing I wanted to do was look at drove past Saracen's house.
Yeah.
And all that. So it was a good time. And and I was so happy to know that you were watching the show because I'm like, man, we are going to talk about this on the podcast because my goodness, the guys, if you haven't seen it, there's a lot of great Coach Taylor lines in the show. One of my favorites, you talk about, at some point in your life, every man's going to have a battle and the man's going to lose. You're going to lose the battle. But what makes a man is he gets up and how he acts after he loses. And I butchered the line, but man, that's one of them, especially when I'm going through hard times and I'm like struggling with stuff. And I feel like, oh man, life just sucks. That's one that I'll go back and I'll read some Coach Taylor wisdom.
Yeah.
There's some good ones in there.
He does a good job on that. And his wife's character is really good in it. And they have a neat deal. So yeah. Now something else I'm watching, Clint, is I'm a big American Idol fan. So American Idol's back. Okay. And I know a lot of people don't like American Idol, but I'm telling you, there's not a better show like that makes people stars out there.
No, and I agree with you. I watch The Voice every now and then. It's hit or miss whether I watch the season or not. But they haven't made any stars like American Idol has.
No.
Now, speaking of American Idol, did you see Kelly Clarkson's divorce settlement?
No.
Hold on. I took a picture of this because it is because I'm like it's one of the times as you looked at the man, I'm like, good for you. Kelly Clarkson will pay her ex-husband $1.3 million, a one-time cash payment of $1.3 million, plus monthly spousal support and $45,000 a month in child support. And now on this thing, I'm going to butcher the name, but there's other like snowmobiles, different vehicles that he's going to keep. He gets a couple of, he's also walking away with a golf simulator that he gets, good. And a couple of Patek Philippe watches. And I'm probably butchering that. Yeah. Now I have a friend that I work with. He works at a different place than me, but he's a watch collector. I said, dude, how nice are these watches? And then I learned way more about these watches than I wanted to know.
Yeah.
On the low end, these watches go around $30,000, but really any serious collector, is going to be. He said no, they could be anywhere from $60,000 to $30 million.
Gosh.
And he even said, like, man, I watched an auction with these watches on it. He goes, and it was like watching people play with Monopoly money. Yeah. It was Monopoly money crazy. Like it sold. I think that was the one that sold for $30 million. I think he said most of them, the other high ends were around $20 million. But it's such a, and he, and it's been fun to talk to him about that because watch collecting is such a weird, unique world thing. But I was like, oh my goodness. He's like, yeah, you got.
That's crazy, man.
So yeah,
that's crazy. Well,
good, buddy, good for you.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, that and Survivor's back. So they haven't made Survivor too weird yet. I'm still watching it, but it's back on. So it's excited about that. So anyway, well, Clint, it's been a good week.
Been a good one. Good episode of it.
Good episode. We a lot of stuff. Remember, we're on YouTube. We're on
Spotify,
Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're also follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook. We may be on some other avenues for podcasts here pretty soon. Hopefully pretty quick we'll be on a couple other places. So we'll let you know about that. And anyway, Clint.
Like, share, subscribe, everybody.
Like, share, subscribe, tell people about it. We appreciate you listening to us.
Hey, Branscombe,
have a great week.
On Saturday.
Hogs. What was that?
Tell Branscombe member his boys on Saturday. And as you said,
That's
go.
Right. That's right. Y'all, we out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change.